Rita, you were there for the civil rights movement.
Absolutely. I was there, sitting on the Lincoln Monument when Dr. King said, "I have a dream." I was there.
There have been numerous protests around the world combating police brutality, combating systemic racism. How are you feeling about all of it?
Angry, upset, and mostly very frightened. I'm frightened because they're getting away with a lot of dreadful, immoral, illegal, unlawful, unsympathetic things. And they just have a perfect example. I think that the people who are very biased about just about everybody, we're not even talking about Latinos or Blacks, I think those people have been given permission to let those feelings out. And in a way, it's a good thing, because now we really know where some of our problems lie in this country. I mean, it's no longer a secret. People can't go around saying, "Oh no, come on, you just take a few examples and you can," no, we now know. And I think it's done some wonders for us in the Hispanic and Black community. It's official now that we know where we stand. We always kind of knew, but now it's right there smack in front of our faces. And that's good. That's important for us too.
I believe it's Maya Angelou who said, "When you know better, you do better." And I want to know, what have you learned from watching these demonstrations on TV and just kind of the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement and seeing what people are doing out there?
I am thrilled to damn pieces, because I see a lot of non-Black faces. That's very important. It's somehow in the past, these complaints have been taken as seriously as they should. Sure. And I am, for one, really, I feel empowered. I feel very excited, because I honestly feel that for the first time, truly the first time, things are going to change.
Why do you feel that way?
I feel that way because I see a lot of people coming together at the worst possible time, with masks on their faces, most of them. And I see that people are really understanding the seriousness of the problem we've had forever. It's as though we've had a low-grade fever for a long time, and now the fever has really burst out. So I know I just know in my gut. I was talking to Whoopi Goldberg yesterday. This is going to be different.
What did she say? What did you guys talk about?
We talked about exactly what I'm saying right now. And we also talked about the fact that she just loved me in The King and I. which was very nice. Which was very, very nice. She wants the Green Beret person who was the first person to suggest the knee, Kaepernick. She wants to interview the Green Beret who suggested to him that he take a knee. So I hope she gets him.
Rita, you are someone who has dedicated your life and your career towards fighting for the equality of Latinos. And right now, the conversation has shifted to how white people can be better allies to the Black community. And I want to know, what are your tips or takeaways that you can share? Because people look to you to set the example.
I think they just really have to listen. I think they have to become sensitive to what it is that the Hispanics are talking about all the time, or the Black community is talking about all the time. I don't think we've done a good job of listening. And I think they kind of have to go to non-racial school. They have to provide that for themselves too. They just really have to listen. I can really see in the eyes of my people, or Black people, Black actors, Black friends, when they get sensitized to something that's being said to them. What I'm really saying is that it's important for white people to understand that we are of necessity, because of all that's happened in our lives and in our experiences. We are kind of sensitive, and it's unfortunate, but that's how it is at the moment.
I do want to ask, because you just brought up your experiences, and I want to know about personal experiences that you've dealt with as it pertains to racism.
When I was in my 60s, which now seems like I was 20,
Yes.
I hadn't done a film in quite a while, and I was very depressed. And my agents finally found a film, a script, and they said, being directed by a very famous man, and who I do not want to name because it's not what this is about. And I said, wow, yay. And it was a wonderful part. It was small, but it was really juicy. And I couldn't wait to audition. And I worked on that script, and I worked every nuance, every word, to get it down to what I thought was as perfect as I could do it. So I went to the audition. The director was there with his minions around him. And I said, I can't wait to do the scene for you because I just think I have it. I know what to do with this. And he said, wonderful. And he looked at my script, and there was a sudden silence. And he said, and he was English. And he said, oh. And I said, excuse me? He said, no, dear. He said, no, this is not the part we wanted you to try out for. This is some mistake. He said, we wanted you to try out for the part of the Mexican whorehouse, madam. And I tell you, the blood sort of left, and I hadn't worked now for about 2 years in a movie, 3 years. The blood just kind of left my head and settled in a pool around my ankles. And I want to tell you that the part of the Mexican whorehouse madam was 2 pages, and it was in Spanish. And I was being asked to even audition, try out for this part with 3 lines in Spanish. I didn't know what to do. After the blood came back to my head, I said to him, gee, I'm sorry. And I was shaking. I was so humiliated. I said, I don't do Mexican whorehouse madams. And he said, oh, no, dear, that's not what I said. He says, no, you don't understand. And I said, yes, I do. I said, you don't understand. And I took my coat, and I deliberately very slowly got up from the chair, picked up my coat and put my shoulder bag around my shoulder, and very slowly exited the place. Of course, everybody was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I went to my car, which was parked up on below, and I had a 1-hour crying session with myself. It was heartbreaking. This is when I was 60. I'd already won, and I was thinking, I won the Oscar, I won the Emmys, I won. How does this happen? And I went home, and my husband said, how'd it go? I said, it was okay. I don't think I did a very good job. And he said, He knew me so well.
Yeah.
And he put me in his arms, and he stroked my head, and he said, Rita, you have value, you are talented, and you're also Hispanic. You have to understand that. And he said, you have to get over that. That's how it is for you. And that was 30 years ago. I still get teary-eyed when I think it hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. It still does.
Did that light a fire in you to do everything you could?
Well, of course. I mean,
the system and
my nature is to just, keep moving is always what I tell myself, but it still hurts. So that means that some part of me still can't take it. Some part of me is still a sissy. And when part of you is a sissy, you just have to say to that little girl in you who still doesn't believe, you have to say to her, go to your room and be brave. And that's what I do. Obviously, I'm tough because I can talk about it, and I think it's important to talk about it. I was in psychotherapy for 8 years trying to solve that problem.
as a result of that audition?
Oh, no, no, wait, no, before that. This is after set therapy.
What compelled you to seek therapy in the first place? Was that another incident?
Because, well, no, there were many incidents. I went to therapy because I felt so valueless. And a friend of mine who really cared for me said, you know what? You really need to work this out with somebody. You really need to go to therapy. And even though I'm still hurting, I'm also kind of, it's not that I'm tough, it's that I'm resilient.
Yeah, you never give up.
There's a difference.
But I think especially my generation, we're not accepting that. We're doing everything we can.
No, it's great.
We're holding people accountable. We're saying that that's not acceptable. I'm not going out for that role. I will not accept police treating my friends or my colleagues like such. So are you raising these concerns? What is it that you're doing to enact all of these years of...
Well, I'm talking to you, and we're talking about the subject. This is what I can do now. I'm very hesitant to go out there because I'm about to be 89 in December, and I'm very, very ultra cautious because of this virus. I miss doing physical protests. I mean, I was brought up on that practically. I started doing that when I was 18, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, Rita, you were there for the civil rights movement.
Absolutely, I was there. Sitting on the Lincoln Monument when Dr. King said, "I have a dream." I was there.
What do you remember about that?
Oh, everything. I remember everything. I remember we were sitting literally no more than 15 feet away from Dr. King. He was standing there doing a speech, not the "I had a dream" speech. And a wonderful gospel singer who was very close to him said, do your "I had a dream." Tell him about your dream. Tell him about your dream. And I heard him, I saw him put away his speech, which was written, and start to talk about, "I had a dream." And I'm telling you, I still can't talk about it without getting these giant goosebumps.
Oh my God.
Oh, you should see my arms right now. And we just got so turned on. It was so exciting. And I remember looking in back of me, and there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I remember thinking, I think this is going to be a very memorable experience. So Rita, don't forget one detail of this.
Wow.
And I sat next to Sammy Davis Jr. and Harry Belafonte was on my right. And it was the most extraordinary experience I've ever had. That really activated me. That did it. I thought, when this many people, I'm not alone. I'm not alone in my hurt, and I'm not alone in my fear, and I'm not alone in the belief that this has to change, and that I can be one little bitty weeny cog in that machine.
There's Cubans in an Uber right now. We still have no plan. Changing people's minds about politics is hard. How did you think it was going to go?
This is a very powerful episode of One Day at a Time. I want to know your reaction when you saw the subject matter.
Oh, I was thrilled beyond words. It's not fruitful to yell at each other and try to convince each other of what is right and what is not right. I think that's very, very, very important. The Alvarezes decide, okay, they are our family, and we still love them. We hate them and we love them, and that's wonderful. We're not that different. We speak different languages, we like different foods. That doesn't mean that in our heart of hearts, we're still human beings.
Right.
We have hearts that beat. We have bloodstreams, we have blood pressure. And we're not that different.